Today I'm doing Battle of the Brands, and this time we're comparing the Juki TL18 QVP versus the new Janome HD9QCP. And I'm going to run a series of tests to help you understand which is the right machine for you. We're going to go from things like free motion quilting to seeing which machine can go through the thickest. We're actually going to sew business cards today. I'm going to also sew through some leather and try a variety of tests. Stay tuned, you're going to want to see this video. I used business cards for the media that it had to sew through because they are equal thickness. I was able to get 16 business cards under the Janome's presser foot. I put the needle against the business card so that the needle had to penetrate without any momentum, and I could run that test on both. And it went through 16 business cards without a problem on the Janome. Very impressive. I did notice I had a little more room under the Juki's presser foot. However, putting that needle down and starting running it, I did notice that the Juki struggled just a little bit more. Next, I wanted to do a real-world test, so I changed the needles and put leather under the foot, 4 layers to be exact. Starting with the Janome, I went to sew and absolutely no problems at all. It handled it beautifully. And with 0 adjustment, the stitch quality was beautiful. Next, the Juki. The fabric fit right under the presser foot without a problem. I went to sew and I did notice that the first few stitches were slightly smaller. Of course, this is a pretty easy adjustment. And here, of course, you can see that result, but the stitch was still beautiful. So with situations where these fabrics are extra thick, Janome and Juki both have a fantastic industrial feature. It allows you to set that presser foot slightly higher off the bed of the machine, and that's going to accommodate those thicker fabrics. And it's really easy to do. You just turn the knob on the top of the machine and you control the height of that presser foot. With this adjustment made, I found that both machines just let that fabric fly through without a problem. I love this. My next test was thicker threads. I'm using a 12 weight thread, and Janome has a fantastic system to allow that thread to be adjusted because of the extra thread guides and engineering that they put in place for these threads. And when I sewed it out, it was just a gorgeous result. The Juki lacks this. So it's designed more for your standard threads. You will have to make more adjustments than the Janome. Finally, one of the biggest uses of these machines is free motion quilting. And on the Janome HD9, we now have a drop feed dog switch. I'm adjusting the machine back to where it was, and I put the free motion foot on. And this machine is just so smooth. I love free motion quilting with this. The real distinction between the Janome and the Juki at this point is just that the Juki has a thumb screw, which helps me to remove these presser feet easier. It also has a hopping presser foot for free motion work, which I personally like. I do find that the Juki is a great free motion machine, very smooth and very precise, but both machines really excelled at this. I think both of these machines have merit. We're going to find that the Janome, for example, probably has a little heavier motor, and it definitely goes faster, about 150 stitches per minute faster. I do like the Juki with certain things. I like that it's a little bit easier to thread, and I also like having the thumb screw to remove presser feet. I know it's nitpicking, but I personally like that potential part of the machine. The Janome does a better job handling those heavier threads. However, the Juki, I do notice that the presser foot goes up a little bit higher. It was a little bit easier to get those heavy fabrics in there. So how do I rate both of them? I rate them as the best. Either way, whichever one you go with, you're going to get a great machine. You're going to get really the similar type of parts, such as the knee lift lever. Basically, you put this in here, and it's going to lift your presser foot up. They both have that. Come with extension tables, walking feet, and the whole 9 yards. But definitely, I think it's really important, if this is something that you're considering, to sit down and test drive them. You know, too many people out there will just go out and buy an industrial machine, and they really don't know that an industrial machine often is set up for one task and one task alone, and they really don't perform well across the spectrum, whereas a home sewing machine is kind of designed to handle a lot more variety of sewing. The more you know about sewing, the better off you are. Make sure to follow our page for a lot more of this content. I'm Michael from the Sewing Place, and you can buy these machines from me at buysewingmachines.com. That's www.buysewingmachines.com. Thank you.